Kentucky has its first confirmed case of the Zika virus. What you need to know about the diagnosis.
The Wildcats 24 hours from tipping off in the SEC tournament. We'll hear what Coach Cal is saying as the team waits to see who they'll play.
A Senate bill unanimously passes committee today that would allow the Bible to be talked about in public schools.
This is WKYT News at 5.
Kentucky has its first confirmed case of the Zika virus. State officials say a Louisville man contracted the virus while traveling to Central America.
A Zika outbreak in that region has been linked to a rise in birth defects. The state wrapped up a news conference about an hour ago. WKYT's Monique Blair is live in Frankfurt with our top story at 5. Monique?
Well, Sam and Amber, that patient is expected to make a full recovery. But the press conference really wasn't about him. It was more about making sure the public understands the Zika virus. Many states in the U.S. have reported Zika cases. The Department of Public Health says for now, those positive results have only occurred in people who have traveled outside the country to places where the virus is currently spreading. Zika is a viral illness primarily spread through the bite of a mosquito that carries the virus. According to the CDC, once a person contracts Zika, it is possible for it then to be transmitted via sexually, through blood transfusions, or through pregnancy, meaning if a woman is pregnant, she can transmit it to the fetus. Governor Bevins said this press conference was held to be proactive and to make sure people are taking precaution before traveling outside of the states.
This is so far out in front of this being an issue for Kentucky, but it is intentionally so. We want people to be informed.
Now, since spring break is right around the corner, health officials say if you do plan to leave the country, it's important to know how to protect yourself against the Zika virus. They say one of the most effective ways is to make sure you use insect repellent that contains the active ingredient called DEET. I'm reporting live in Frankfurt. Monique Blair, WKYT.
Monique, thank you. Right now, there is no vaccine or antiviral to treat Zika. West Virginia also confirmed its first case today. We have some showers and storms heading our way this afternoon.
And the rain will be pretty heavy overnight, and there is potential for flooding. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's tracking all of that right now. Chris?
Yeah, guys, some local high water issues a possibility with this corridor of rain that is working into the area right now. It's putting down a lot of rain for areas just to our west. Defender Radar Network has been lighting up, and it's the same areas getting hit one right after another with round after round of some heavier downpours. Where we see this enhanced band of showers and thunderstorms from around E-Town and Bowling Green and points to the northeast toward Frankfurt, that little narrow corridor is where we can get at least some minor flooding issues. So we'll keep a very close eye on that from E-Town to Bardstown and then along and north of the Bluegrass Parkway toward the capital city of Frankfurt, northern parts of Franklin County, Peaks Mill over towards Stamping Ground and Scott County getting hit the hardest. Downtown Lexington, we've dodged a lot of the drops so far. That'll change, though, over the next 1 to 2 hours. Cynthiana, northern parts of Bourbon County up toward Mount Olivet, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and Carlisle. Heavy amounts of rain coming from the skies over the past little bit. And for our Wildcat friends down into Nashville, Tennessee, showers and thunderstorms into that general area as well. Heck of a temperature gradient. We were hitting 80 this afternoon, southeastern Kentucky, yet upper 50s showing up across the western part of the state. That new hour-by-hour future radar showing how areas that are in the 70s now will be getting in on heavier rains as the evening wears on. Guys, that new hour-by-hour will take you through the entire weekend when I come back in a few minutes.
Chris, thank you. And the rain has already caused some high water problems to our west. This is some video out of McCracken County in western Kentucky. Roads have also been closed in Carlisle and Graves counties because of flooding.
An employee had to hide in a cooler after police say a man ran into a store and got into a standoff with police. Police say Timothy Caldwell ran into the corner liquor store on Newtown Pike after police tried to make a traffic stop on him. We're told Caldwell found 2 guns under the counter before discovering the employee in the cooler. He ended up letting him go after the employee told him he had 5 children at home.
When Micah disappeared, and I knew that he was gone because I was on the phone with the police. They said Micah's out. I was like, thank God. But it was a very freaky moment.
The store owner says Caldwell eventually passed out in the bathroom, and that's when police arrested him. He faces 24 charges, including 9 counts of wanton endangerment. The Wildcats' quest for an SEC championship begins tomorrow.
UK coach John Calipari just wrapping up a news conference at Belmont University in Nashville, where the team practiced this afternoon. Our Rob Bromley's live in Nashville with more. Hello, Rob.
Well, the Wildcats getting down here to Nashville and working a route right now here at Belmont. They're on the floor of the Curb Center right now. Belmont, a beautiful OVC school that is not far from Bridgestone Arena. And the bottom line is the Cats come into the SEC really playing good basketball. The back-to-back wins over Florida and LSU. It comes at a perfect time. The bottom line is Kentucky just doesn't know which team it will play. Cal talked about the tournament at around 4:30, and he won't know later tonight whether it's Alabama or Ole Miss.
The hard thing about the first game, Alabama, Mississippi, both really good teams. The hard thing becomes that they've played and they've got momentum, and you're walking in not knowing, and you had to lay around all day. The hardest game is the first game. After that, you could still lose, but the hardest game is playing that first one when they have already played a game.
So John Calipari and his team just have to wait. They will not be on the court until tomorrow night at 7 o'clock against the winner of tonight's Alabama-Ole Miss game. That will tip off at 7 tonight. The Cats play tomorrow night at 7 in the quarterfinals of this SEC tournament. That's the story right now from here at Belmont University in Nashville, where the Cats practice is going on right now. Sam Amber, back to you.
All right, thank you, Rob. We look forward to that game tomorrow night. Lawmakers considering a bill today to allow classes about the Bible to be taught in public schools.
The Senate Education Committee held a hearing on the proposal before giving it unanimous approval. WKYT's Caitlin Setner shows us the discussion.
The Bible is part of our historical context, both internationally, world civilization, and certainly in these United States.
Senator Robin Webb pitched to the Education Committee why public schools should allow Bible literacy courses be taught.
This bill is a good bill, to use a cliche here.
Senator Webb had unanimous support today in committee from her fellow colleagues, and then they explained why they voted yes.
So I think this brings value and roundness to the educational experience.
The Bible isn't something we should run away from, something that we should run away to. It's part of this country.
That's the reality of the world. We're all from different places and different perspectives. We all believe different ways, and I think it would be able to teach children to be more tolerant and to get along better.
But not everyone agrees. In this post from our Facebook page, you can see one viewer says, the Bible should be taught at home and in church. Another says church and state exists for a reason. But Senator Webb disagrees. She says the elective would follow all guidelines maintaining religious neutrality.
I remember what it looked like when I had it as literature, and it was just like the dissection and discussion of any other book.
The bill was voted with consent, meaning when it returns to the Senate floor, it'll be grouped with other bills.
I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic, like I am with any bill here.
In Frankfort, Caitlin Setner, WKYT.
The ACLU released a statement this afternoon urging lawmakers to consider how the bill will be implemented. The group says there certainly are acceptable ways of teaching the Bible. The fact remains it's difficult to do so in a constitutionally permissible manner.
Charges have been dismissed against a man accused of dog attack. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Lincoln County. Chris Pope faced 12 misdemeanor charges after police say his dogs escaped a kennel and attacked a woman last July. She suffered severe injuries and had to be flown to UK hospital. The Interior Journal reports attorneys agreed to specific terms and dismissed the charges last month. Right now, Pope is serving prison time in 2 other cases. In Scott County, Georgetown police have issued a warning after pods of rat poison were found. Police say the pods were located in various spots in the 600 block of South Broadway by someone using them for pest control. Police will continue to check for the pods. They say if you use them, you need to get a special container to put them in so they don't pose a danger to others. And in Whitley County, the search for a missing man continued today. Investigators issued a golden alert for Joel Moses after he disappeared Monday. His truck wallet and jacket were all found near the Clear Fork River earlier this week. Crews have been dragging the river looking for more clues.
The Republican candidates for president face off again tonight. They have gone after each other in the past, and this debate promises to be no different. Marley Hall is in Miami with a look ahead to tonight's event.
Republican Senator Mike Lee of Utah is the first U.S. senator to endorse Ted Cruz.
Unity within the Republican Party is more important right now than ever before. We need to unite behind Ted Cruz.
Lee's endorsement comes just hours ahead of a critical GOP debate in Florida.
So you'll be watching the debate tonight?
So I'll be watching the debate tonight.
Gregory Koger, a political science professor at the University of Miami, says Cruz still has a lot of work to do to win over more Republicans.
For him to now unite the party against Donald Trump would require everyone to overlook what he has actually done as a senator.
Cruz, Marco Rubio, and John Kasich all say Donald Trump would be a disaster as the nominee, guaranteeing a Democratic win in November. Democrats say it doesn't matter who wins.
People ask me all the time, well, who do I want to run against? That's not for me to decide. But given what they've all said, I will take any one of them.
But before Hillary Clinton runs against a Republican, she has to defeat Bernie Sanders, who pulled off an upset win in Michigan this week.
We got 5 states coming up, including Florida. If you guys come out to vote, we're going to pull off an upset here as well.
Sanders is trailing Clinton in Florida in the latest polls. Marley Hall, CBS News, Miami.
And Hillary Clinton has a big lead in the delegate race to clinch the nomination. It is not spring yet, but allergies have already started bothering many of us. The reason they're starting a little earlier this year.
Babies might be able to answer some questions about metabolism, how little ones are helping with a study on the subject in Better Living.
Lexington's water rates are some of the highest in the country, and your bill could be rising even more. Why the water company wants to increase your rates for the 5th time in 10 years. The rising cost of water, tonight at 6 on WKYT.
It's Furniture World Superstore's biggest tax refund sale ever. Now's a great time to redecorate your home because Furniture World stretches your tax refund with huge savings store-wide, plus 2 years interest-free. Now at Furniture World, use your tax refund to refurnish your living room or dining room, update your bedroom, sleep better on a comfortable new mattress. We're serious about saving you big money. Get huge tax refund savings, plus it's interest-free for 2 full years. So hurry in and save during our biggest tax refund sale ever. Now at all 5 Furniture World Superstore locations.
Thanks for your help with my homework, Dad.
Anytime. You need to work hard and get good grades.
Yeah, but have you opened a college savings account yet?
Well,
you can with the Kentucky Education Savings Plan Trust. Any earnings are tax-free if you use the money for qualified expenses.
You've been talking to Grandpa again, haven't you?
Sure, he wants to help, but you had to open an account first, okay?
Okay.
Now, can we talk about my bedtime?
Start saving for college today. More at kysaves.com/today.
Did your family set a goal to become healthier in the new year? One family did and lost 300 pounds at Ageless. Bruce lost 92 pounds, Adam lost 64 pounds, and Catherine lost 151 pounds. For a medically supervised, affordable weight loss solution, call Ageless today for a free consultation.
In 1934, Steak and Shake decided the world didn't need another hamburger. It needed a steak burger. So they used 100% beef. Quick sear to seal in the flavor you'll only get from a steak burger. Steak and Shake, home of the original steak burger.
Building the only trucks with the best torque, best payload, best towing, and best horsepower takes guts. Icing out the competition, that's the glory. Get a great deal during Ram Truck Month. Returning FCA US lessees finance and get $11,000 in total values on the purchase of a 2016 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab.
At Baptist Health, we want you to know the facts. Visit BaptistHealthTalks.com to view a video of anesthesiologist Thomas Young on reducing pain after surgery. Baptist Health Lexington. Be a healthier you.
Chimneys are in a constant state of deterioration, and most will leak at some point. We solve this problem. Don't call a roofer to fix your chimney. Call Barnhill Chimney Company today.
I'm WKYT's Miranda Combs, and I stand for Kentucky.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Rain's arriving right on cue this afternoon across much of central and western Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky, you've been seeing temperatures upper 70s, low 80s today. Rain's on the way, too. Now, let's get into it and show you the drops that are finally falling here at the station at a pretty good clip now as we look out toward the west. 61 at the airport, where it has been raining longer than what it's been or what we've been seeing on our side of town. Humidity levels obviously way up when it is raining compared to the dry weather we've had over the past few days. Heavy amounts of rain, greater than 2 inches already on the day for areas just to the north of the Bluegrass Parkway. Bullitt County down toward Elizabethtown into Hardin County. Northern and northeastern parts of the area, we've been picking up a quick 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch here around Maysville. Back towards Cynthiana, northern parts of Scott County into the capital city of Frankfort. Lexington, it's some lighter rains that we've been dealing with, but the heavier rains are off to our west and southwest, and that's what's coming in over the next 1 to 2 hours. I know we've got a lot of t-ball practices. We've got a lot of soccer practices and or maybe some games out there this evening. We've had some lightning embedded within this wall of water that is coming on into town as well. You're going to have rain. You can practice in rain, but I think it's going to be some pretty good downpours, and the potential is there for a lightning strike or two. That has been calming down a little bit around the Bowling Green area. Most of western Kentucky continues to be under flash flood warnings as of now. Areas into southeastern Kentucky where we've been holding out on the rain, again, 80 degrees today. Tomorrow's a cooler day. It's ugly through the early afternoon. Clouds are going to hang tough, upper 40s to low 50s. Second half of the day, we should at least hit 60 to 65 into parts of the area. Southern Kentucky clouds may linger, keeping your temperatures down a few degrees. Here's the breakdown. Tonight, heavy rain, some thunder and lightning. Local high water issues are possible. Some local stream and street flooding, especially for areas across the central Kentucky, the Bluegrass region. End of the day tomorrow. Afternoon is cooler, partly cloudy skies. Saturday, near record highs. Then more storms blow up as we go into late Saturday, Sunday. Hour by hour forecast. You're living on borrowed time. Southeastern Kentucky, the rain is on the way. Tomorrow morning, everybody is cloudy, overcast, some showers, some drizzle. By 4 in the afternoon, though, 64 north with some clear skies. Southern Kentucky, more in the way of clouds. Watch how everything then all of a sudden starts coming back at us in reverse. Saturday morning, can you pick out the warm front? 68 Monticello, 48 into Covington. Look at Saturday afternoon. Upper 70s across the entire region. And that will lead to more in the way of some heavy rain producing showers and storms as we go into Saturday night and Sunday. And that's when we also spring forward as we gain an hour of daylight, lose an hour of sleep. Call for next week. We have one more really warm day coming up on Tuesday, maybe even into Wednesday. Bottom falls out by the end of next week. Gardeners, let's not get crazy this time of year, okay? You're tempted to when you have this warm weather, but hang in there for a while.
Just hold on,
Hold
right?
your horses. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Overall look at Lexington rush hour traffic this afternoon on the Circle, Man O' War, and the Interstate. And we're working a collision on Man O' War right now. It's on the outer loop at Winthrop. So one lane blocked there. It's mainly affecting the outer loop of Man O' War approaching Winthrop. The inner loop, both lanes are open. Drive times this afternoon to Nicholasville. Also looking okay. Outbound Winchester 64 looks good. So does US 60 that direction. And to Mount Sterling, it's pretty much a normal ride. How about you in the studio?
Thank you, Don. Allergy season has started a little earlier this year. The reason coming up.
Morehead State University has announced furloughs for employees. The reason for the unpaid days off coming up on WKYT News at 5:30.
I've covered thousands of games over decades. You think you can beat me? Come on.
Challenge Dave Baker and play the Hoops Hysteria Tournament Pick'em game for your chance to win a 65-inch LG 4K Smart TV. Sign up today on WKYT.com.
I've been doing the treatments for over a year, and you get results that you can't just do at the gym. A little of that belly fat gone, it's perfect. My wife was so impressed with the results that I was getting, she jumped in. Now we're both pretty darn happy with Body Shapes.
These creamery shakes are so rich and creamy.
I know. Finally a shake for an aficionado like myself.
Wait, you're a shake aficionado?
Not a shake aficionado. The shake aficionado.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, perhaps you could be one too. Go ahead.
There's a coolness. It's cold.
Okay, ice cream is cold. Stop the presses, guys. Ice cream is cold. Says Pete. Printed.
New slow-turned creamery shakes are here in premium flavors like bourbon brown sugar. And all shakes are half price after 8 p.m. This is how you Sonic.
At Belterra Casino Resort,
you'll discover that the time of your life is best shared with good company. That every moment is worth savoring. And that some nights should never have to end. Belterra Casino Resort, your everyday escape.
The joys of carry-out pizza places. It's never ready when they say it'll be. And if you just want a slice or two, good luck on that. So why wait at one of those pizza carry-out places when fresh pizzeria-style pizzas, whole or by the slice, are yours in just minutes at Speedway? A rich, buttery crust, real mozzarella cheese, and fresh pepperoni, all ready for you at Speedway. Why wait at a carry-out place when Speedway's got fresh hot pizza in just minutes?
The convenience stores of Speedway.
Now buy one slice of pizza at Speedway and get your second slice free.
Has this ever happened to you? Or this? Will this make your memoirs? At Shelter Insurance, we can't iron out all the glitches in modern life. But we can manage your auto, home, and life insurance just fine. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Welcome to Body Shapes Medical, the trusted experts in hormone health. By age 35, you likely need our help. After 40, you definitely do.
Since my therapy, I can run marathons now.
I was able to lose 27 pounds in 2 months.
The more you lose, the more you want to stick to it.
Kentucky mornings start here. Breaking and overnight news, weather to plan your day, plus traffic you can take with you. Make WKYT This Morning part of your Kentucky morning. Weekdays from 4:30 to 7 on WKYT. Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
A recall alert for foods you might have in your freezer. Nestle is recalling 3 million boxes of DiGiorno pizzas, Stouffer's lasagnas, and lean cuisine meals after customers reported finding glass in their food. Nestle says the glass might have come from spinach used in the products. We have a list of affected products on WKYT.com. Kentucky is seeing more cases as we get closer to the end of flu season. According to the state, Kentucky now has 639 confirmed cases. At last check, we had 447 cases. Kentucky's flu activity is still classified as widespread. It is not officially spring yet, but spring allergies have already arrived for a lot of people.
You can hear it. WKYT's Jim Caldwell shows us why there's already sniffling and sneezing going on. The story's new here at 5.
We are rapidly moving toward spring. We've actually been feeling just like it the past few days here, and many of us have already been experiencing some of those allergies you get during the springtime. A few weeks too early, though.
Many of you may have already been sniffing and sneezing.
The typical allergies, the nasal and eye symptoms that we see with spring.
The lack of longer cold periods and an overall upward temperature trend have allowed for an early arrival of spring allergies.
I do pollen counts in Lexington here, so I'm seeing tree pollen already. We also do counts in our Louisville office, and they've been seeing the tree pollen as well. And in fact, they saw a little bit of grass pollen even today, which it's definitely early to see that.
The warmer temperatures have kept the air around you full of issues.
We are going to see it enhanced. I think we're already seeing it come out earlier, and then I think it's also going to be a stronger pollen season as well.
On average, we usually don't see our final spring freeze until the middle of April. Even our last frost occurs closer to the 1st of May, with several peppered in between. Just don't expect any significant relief when those happen.
So we may see things a little lower during the colder climates, but as soon as it warms back up, we'll be right back where we were.
And if you are one of those many allergy sufferers out there, you know that the season hasn't even released its full wrath yet. In Lexington, I'm WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
And the doctor says tree pollen is 2 to 3 weeks early and shows few signs of slowing down. Radioactive waste illegally dumped in a Kentucky landfill, and it's leading to legislative action in Frankfort. The bill lawmakers considered today on WKYT News at 5:30.
Some good news about cancer deaths in the U.S. and how babies are helping researchers better understand metabolism. The story's next in Better Living.
I'm WKYT's Rebecca Smith, and I stand for Kentucky.
We're
celebrating our anniversary this week at Ashley Home Store with 72 months interest-free financing. Get our best-selling queen storage bed for less than $13 a month and the snailhead trim sofa for only $10 a month. Plus, take up to 50% off all clearance items. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Who invented the Reuben? Putting sauerkraut, marble rye, and corned beef together? That's cray-cray. Then again, somebody had to eat eggs for the first time. Arby's, we have the meats.
Are you happy with your bathroom? I wasn't. I thought I didn't have the money until I learned about Bathfitter. Bathfitter puts a new bathtub right over your old one. Isn't that amazing? Bathfitter will measure and install right over your existing tub. And only Bathfitter has seamless walls, which guarantees a watertight fit. Plus, they do it all in just one day. That's my favorite part. Book a free consultation and find out for yourself. Call today or learn more at bathfitternow.com.
4x for scenic routes that only you find scenic. For the great outdoors and the great indoors. For knowing boundaries are there to be crossed.
4x4 today, tomorrow, we'll never say
Jeep Cherokee. It's how we live 4x forever. Returning FCA U.S. lessees get $5,000 total cash allowance on the purchase of a 2016 Jeep Cherokee Latitude.
Hi, I'm Brian. I buy houses in the Lexington area. No more stress. I can buy your house as is and we'll close professionally with a Lexington attorney. You can get all cash, debt relief, and peace of mind. Call me at 859-278-HELP or go to 278help.com.
It's Furniture World Superstore's biggest tax refund sale ever. Now's a great time to redecorate your home because Furniture World stretches your tax refund with huge savings store-wide, plus 2 years interest-free. Now at Furniture World, use your tax refund to refurnish your living room or dining room, update your bedroom, sleep better on a comfortable new mattress. We're serious about saving you big money. Get huge tax refund savings, plus it's interest-free for 2 full years. So hurry in and save during our biggest tax refund sale ever. Now at all 5 Furniture World Superstore locations.
Kentucky retirees, your health care may be on the line. The Medicare agency has proposed new cuts to Medicare Advantage retiree coverage that 92,000 Kentucky seniors count on. You could be facing up to $264 a year in higher costs and reduced benefits. It's not too late to stop the cuts. Ask Congress to tell Medicare to stop the new cuts to Medicare Advantage retiree coverage. Paid for by the Coalition to Save Medicare Advantage retiree coverage.
It's the anniversary sale at Ashley Home Store, and we're celebrating with 72 months interest-free financing. Or take 10% off your entire purchase, plus take 36 months to pay interest-free. Hurry in. These anniversary savings won't last long. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
It is time now for better living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Good news when it comes to cancer in the U.S. A new report on the state of cancer in the U.S. says the number of deaths from the disease fell 1.5% each year from 2003 to 2012. There were also decreases for men, women, and among all major racial and ethnic groups. Experts credit prevention, early detection, and improved treatments for the decrease. Could the key to controlling your metabolism lie in the first few weeks of your life? There's a new study focused on babies that could benefit all of us. Graham Ulkin shows us the research.
Everything is brand new to little Charles. He's only a few months old and already contributing to science.
For the first time, we're going to be able to measure metabolism in babies. Hey!
He's spending 3 hours inside this metabolic chamber. It measures the exact amount of oxygen he's breathing in and how much carbon dioxide he's exhaling. It also measures how he eats a bottle of food, including how many calories he's burning.
The thought is that what happens very early in life sets what we call the metabolic fingerprint for how you'll be for the rest of your life.
Researchers here at Pennington Biomedical hope these calculations will better explain how to change that fingerprint. For example, what mothers should be eating and how much and how often to feed their babies.
I always wondered why they are all so different. My daughter and my 2-year-old seem to be the same, and then my 3-year-old and the baby seem to have the same body.
Mom Amy was eager to get her baby in the chamber. Researchers say it's the only one in the world being used right now.
Really, it's a brand new discovery. There's so much that's not known about a baby's metabolism.
There are no risks from spending time in here. In fact, Charles seems to like it. An experience he may not remember, but one that science certainly will.
Well, that study will look at 40 healthy babies between 1 and 3 months old. They only have to make 2 visits to that chamber. Now, here's what's coming up for you at 5:30.